Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started while this boots up. So, I'm Aaron Hardy. I think you all met me a couple days ago. There are two things that I would like to accomplish in this lecture. One, I would like to make sure that all of you have a working copy of Verbatim installed on your computer. I'm not going to get all of you working, okay, because it takes a while. That is okay. I will live with some of you not being able to follow along. It just means we're going to have you come find Ricardo later to help walk you through it, or ask your lab leader for help, or find me at some other point. Okay, so it is okay if you get behind in this. Do your best to keep up. Do your best to follow along. The second thing I'd like to do is walk you through some of the basic functions on the Mac to show you some of the intro things about Verbatim, about cutting some cards and doing some intro paperless stuff. Yeah. Maybe, because in my experience, it's not installed correctly. So we're going to walk through how to do it. We're going to make sure it's done correctly, okay, and learn how to mess up the install. Yeah. I'll show you how to take care of the whole thing. Don't worry. Part of what I want to do with this is I want to show you how to troubleshoot, because you're like the Mac person on the floor, and when somebody else with a Mac, can't figure it out, they're like, well, does yours work? And you want to be able to say, I know why yours is broken, especially when you get back home to your team or whatever, okay? So I'm going to show that to all of you. Now, the next thing is, I just want to throw this out there, okay? You should install Boot Camp and run Windows on your Mac, okay? You should do it. I understand that you're like, but I love my Mac. Okay, I don't care, all right? If I could make Verbatim be as good on the Mac as it was on the PC, I would do that for you, and then it would be fine. Office for the Mac sucks, okay? It's not my fault. It's Microsoft's fault. They put millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars into making Microsoft Office work on Windows. They were like, hey, random programmer from India, here's 20 bucks, make a Mac version, okay? And that means that the program you all have to use is terrible, all right? And there's nothing that can be done about that. So it's slow, it's buggy, it doesn't do any of the cool stuff the PC version does. There's no real downside to installing Boot Camp and running Windows. So there's my pitch, okay? It's not that hard. You can wait till you get home to do that. I will do my best to show you how to do it on the Mac, but realize that you are choosing to run an inferior version of the program just because you refuse to multitask occasionally, all right? I know, I wrote both versions, and the Mac version sucks. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I've heard of very few problems if you want to use Parallels or Boot Camp. Now, I don't want all of you to bombard Ricardo at dinner to install Boot Camp for you, okay? Because, obviously there are more of you than that can happen with. But my honest advice, if asked, right? I used a Mac to write the second version or the latest version of Verbatim, all right? I get it. But sometimes there's just no way out of the fact that the software everyone uses is written by a company that doesn't like Apple very much. So, too bad. Okay, that being said, for a lot of things, Verbatim on the Mac works just fine. And I want to walk you through how to get it installed and make sure that you can do it. And if that's what you're going to be on, that's okay. All right, so here's what we do. First is I want you to open up a browser. Even if you have Verbatim installed already, I want you just to follow along because you're going to see the right way to do it and figure out if you did it the right way or did it the wrong way the last time. Okay? So, go to paperlessdebate.com. That's pretty easy to remember. Paperlessdebate.com. The internet has been kind of slow in this building. Or at least it was in the other room. Yeah, it's kind of sucking. I'm reconnecting. I think it's okay. I think I just...
You want to just use my connect?
We're good. We're good. We're good. Paperlessdebate.com. Okay. Click on the Verbatim section. Click on Learn More. Now, this is where many people go wrong at the very beginning. They download the PC version and try to install it on the Mac, and everything blows up. Okay? Not surprising. So instead, click on looking for the Mac version, because you are looking for the Mac version. And you should now have it say verbatim for Mac. Now, we're going to try the automatic installer first, because I think it does work most of the time, and see if it works for you. If it doesn't, I'm then going to walk everybody through how to do the manual installation. Yeah. Then you talk to Ricardo later. Anybody else have Word 2008? Word 2008 cannot run verbatim. Again, blame Microsoft, nothing can be done. So upgrade, yeah. There's only one thing after 2008, so yes. 2011 is the only other version on the Mac, so yes. Hopefully there will be Mac Word 2014 someday soon, but and maybe it will even be so good that it will make verbatim as good on the Mac as it is on the PC, but I doubt it. Okay, so now I want you to download Verbatim Mac 4.5.1 installer. So click on that. That's going to download. It's going to end up in your downloads folder. Go open your download folder and go find it. There it is. Now, all you have to do is click on it. Yes, this is safe to run again. It'll take you to this installer. It'll ask you to go through the steps. Click through all the steps. Continue, continue, continue. Hopefully it will say successfully installed or something along those lines. Okay. All right. Now, at this point, the majority of you are like, but nothing happened, so it must be broken. No. Okay, it probably worked, and we're going to show you how to figure out if it worked or not. Click on Word now. You might have to close Word altogether if you had a bunch of Word docs open. Command Q or whatever, get out of Word. If you now open Word, you will have a section on the left of the document gallery that says My Templates. You can also get there by going to File, New from Template. If you see an option for debate, verbatim is installed. Congratulations. Okay? Yes. No one that says what? Yeah, that'll show up periodically. That's okay. But you want debate to show up there. All right. Now, if I were to click on that, it would open up a new blank verbatim document for me. And you should go ahead and do that. Now, that is the way that you should open up verbatim each time. Go to File, New from Template, or go to My Template Gallery and click on Debate and open a new blank document based on verbatim. That should be happening any second now. My computer's just running a little slow. There you go. And if all worked well, you should also see the verbatim toolbar pop up. Looks like it's thinking about doing that. Oh. Okay. What I get for running Mac OS X on my PC. There you go. That's what the verbatim toolbar looks like. Now, for some of you that may have worked, but that toolbar is just missing. That's fine. Okay, I'm going to show you a little trick. Up where it says View, there's a menu option for toolbars. You should see two. One for verbatim and one for verbatim normal. Okay? Sometimes Mac Word just decides to hide your toolbar. It's there, it works, but it doesn't want to show it. If you click on that, it will make it appear again. Yeah. That's odd. It probably means you have some other template also installed in addition to verbatim. Maybe from your school or something. So we'll have you remove that in a minute. Now, here's the other trick to this, okay? Let's say I quit Word. Once you've opened a verbatim document the first time, it installed a little toolbar for you to make getting into verbatim easier. One of the annoying things is that very frequently when someone sends you a verbatim file that was produced on the PC, the toolbar won't show up. To fix that, there's a little button built in that you press that makes it into a verbatim document. So the way to do that is if you open Word, you'll now have a little toolbar that shows up on any blank document or a document that you just opened up from someone else. Maybe this is a debate file. You might have to press this new button called Attach Verbatim. Now that may not show up unless you go to View, Toolbars, and select Verbatim Normal. Sometimes that gets hidden. But if you push the button, it will make that toolbar show up. Make sense? Pretty straightforward, right? Okay. How many of you, raise your hands, the automatic installer did not work at all, and you do not have Verbatim installed? I'm shocked it's only like 4 or 5 of you. That's okay. What I now want to show you is how to do this all manually, okay, and walk you through the manual install. Even if it works for you now, this time, please pay attention, because someone else is going to ask you how to do it, or you're going to have somebody back on your team that wants help, or you're going to have to install a new version of Verbatim someday, and the automatic installer won't work. So this is how you do what the automatic installer does. Quit out of Word altogether, okay? Close down all your documents, and go back over to your browser. This time, I want you to download the standalone template, Verbatim Mac 4.5.1 template. Click on that. It will download to your downloads folder. Now, the majority of you that are doing this are probably going to look at your downloads folder, and you're going to have 19 copies of debate.m that you've downloaded at various points. Okay? This happens like every time I go help somebody install it on a Mac. Delete all of those. Okay? We want one copy of this file on your entire computer, so get rid of everything else. Then, if you have downloaded it and it said debate7.m or something when you downloaded it. Anybody have that? The number attached at the end? Okay. Make sure to rename the one you just downloaded so it's titled Debate with a capital D. No numbers. All you have to do to install Verbatim is put Verbatim in the right directory. The problem is that Mac OS X hides that directory from you and will not let you find it. Okay? So I'm going to show you the trick to quickly go to that directory even though Mac OS X does not want you to go to that directory. So everybody go, click on the desktop, make sure you're in Finder, and then press Command-Shift-G. Command-Shift-G for go. And then I want you to type in the address I have up there. Tilde, which is just to the left of your 1, a little squiggle, / capital L, library, / tilde / library / and press go. That'll pop you open your library folder that would otherwise be hidden. This is a different library than your other library folder you may have been to. It's like the hidden system library folder. And then go to the following directory: Application Support, Microsoft, Office, User Templates. Does anybody not have a User Templates folder in Library, Microsoft Office? Everybody has that? Excellent. Okay. So now you should see two things. One, you should see normal.m. You should also see a folder that says My Templates. Is anybody missing a My Templates folder? A couple of you? Okay. I'll tell you what to do in a second if you don't have a My Templates folder. For the rest of you, all you have to do is put debate.m in My Templates. So wherever you put that, your downloads folder or whatever, drag debate or debate.m into your My Templates folder and let it go. This is also where you would be likely to find a different template file that was installed from before. So if you see something else in there, labeled, my cool debate template or something, go ahead and delete that. You can also, as a troubleshooting measure, delete your normal .m file. Word is very smart. If it doesn't find that, it will make a new one, so don't worry like you're breaking your computer. But you can delete your normal template. If you do that, it will help Word regenerate one and make a new clean install. But in general, put debate in your My Templates folder and you're done. Now, if you don't have a My Templates folder, leave that folder open. Go back to Word. Open it up just regular. Open a new blank document. And then go to File, Save As, and then change the format from Word document to Word macro-enabled template. Just change the format you're saving it in. You'll note that it immediately changed where it was saving it from documents to My Template. Leave it labeled whatever, document 1 or test or whatever, and click Save. That will automatically create your My Templates folder for you. So you can then close Word. After you've saved that file, close Word, quit out of it. And if you go back over to that library folder, Application Support Microsoft Office, User Templates, you'll now have a My Templates folder to put debate.m into. Whether you use the automatic installer, yeah. Yeah, now you can delete it. It won't hurt anything to be in there, but if you want to delete it in there, go ahead. That's just to get Word to make it for you. So it doesn't matter if you use the automatic install or if you use the manual method I just showed you. Either way, you just need a copy of debate in your My Templates folder and nothing else going on. You don't want other random templates scattered around everywhere. And if you're having trouble, delete normal, delete debate, and just put a debate one in there and restart Word. Pretty straightforward. The hard part is getting to that folder because Mac OS X doesn't want you to. Anybody not feel like they have a working, correctly installed version of Verbatim now? Again, you can tell by clicking on the Word and seeing the template gallery and making sure that you have debate as an option. So there's one hand up here, Ricardo, if you want to go, and then in the back. And two up here. Okay. Do you have like a quick question about it? You're not sure, or do you want him to just come look? Go ahead. Delete your normal template, and then open up Word again, and then you need to go to the New from Template and open a new Verbatim document one time, and it will remake the toolbar for you in your normal template. Toolbar? Yeah. Yeah. So it's here, and when you double click on that, nothing happens. You don't want to click on it in your templates folder. You always want to use this. You always want to go through the project or the document gallery to start a new Verbatim document. Stay away from that templates folder after you've got it installed. Yes. Okay, well, Ricardo's going to come help you in a minute. Up front. Okay, so now I want to pivot to talking for the last 15 minutes about how to use this thing that you've just installed. How many of you all have a little bit of experience with using Verbatim before this? Several of you. Okay. That's great. So what is a template? Just in general, like what do I mean when I say the word template? Yeah. So you're right. It's a way to set up your document in advance to use like nifty functions. But even in a more general sense, like what is a template? Like not even about Word. Yeah. Yeah, something to base something else off of. So all of you at some point in your life probably made a photocopy, right? Take an original, you put it on the glass, and then you can press the start button as many times as you want, and you're going to get a bunch of identical documents based on that original one, right? And you don't ever want to make it, you don't ever want to edit or change the original because that would affect every subsequent document you made. But you can hit start as many times as you want. A Word template works the same way. You never want to edit debate.m itself, that file, because that's the original master copy. Instead, when you use this function, my templates, and click on debate, what you're doing is Xeroxing the original and making a new file that is based off of the original one to make it easier to format and have it laid out exactly like you want. Okay, so that's what Verbatim is a template for Word that has built-in functions to make your life easier. So there's two things I want to go over. One is formatting, the other is how to use Paperless. So let's start by opening a new blank Verbatim document. Cool. So let's go and let's just cut a card together, and I'll walk you through how Verbatim makes your life easier to do that. So back to my web browser. I'm going to go to Google News. Did everybody hear that there's new baby pandas at the Atlanta Zoo? Yeah, there's new baby pandas at the Atlanta Zoo. So we're gonna go find an article about that. Baby pandas. Here we go. Weirdly though, baby pandas, not that cute. Kind of gross looking. But you know, they'll be cute someday. So we're going to cut a card about them. Okay? So, if I was going to cut this card, what's the first thing I would do? Copy the text of the card that I want, right? So I'm going to copy a bunch of stuff. Maybe if it lets me copy. Okay. So I copy it. Now I go back over to my Word document. What's the next thing you would do? Several people said the right thing. Several people said the wrong thing. So I want to be very clear about this step. Normally, you would just paste it, right? You'd press Command V, or you'd right-click and say paste or whatever. Watch what happens when I press Command V from this web page. It gave me this document where it pasted in like all the pictures and the random text formatting and other crap that you don't want. Right? Okay, no. So instead, what you should do is use the built-in function F2. Some of you may have to press function F2. You can switch that in your keyboard settings and your system settings, whether you have to use function or not. But press F2. Does everybody see what that just did? It only pasted in the text from the article without any of the formatting. Yeah. Copied it. No, not after you've pasted it. Copy it, and instead of pressing Command V, press F2 instead. And that will paste it in, but won't use the normal one. Okay? So, cool. We've got all this stuff in there. You all are going to send your lab leaders a card at some point in the next couple of days. And they're going to send it back to you because it's going to have a picture of a baby panda cub in it. Okay? And you forgot to press F2. So, always, 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 always F2 when you're pasting in from the internet. The next thing, so what would we have at the very top of the page of our block of stuff that we were going to read? Even before that, what would we have? Like a heading, right? Like a name for whatever your block was going to be about, right? So back in the old, so block title, baby pandas are cute. Okay. Back in the old days, you had to select that and then manually format it. Bold it, underline it, center it, increase the text size, whatever. It's a lot easier now because all you have to do is press F6 and it automatically formats that line for you as a block title. If at any point you need to clear stuff, you can select anything and press F12 and it will clear all the formatting. And you can see up on this toolbar, it has all these F keys listed out for you, what they do. What happens after a block title on the page? Tag, right? So I'm going to press F7 and then, oops, F7 and I'm going to write a tag. Baby pandas are cute. Okay. What will come next? Site. Okay, well this is by Adrian Cutway, staff writer. And then we get the URL. And F2, pasting the URL. When you have a site, what do you actually read? The last name and the date, right? Cutway 13. So if you put your cursor in the last name somewhere and press F8, it will bold the last name or the date. The tag and the site look pretty similar. Somebody know what the difference is between F7 and F8? Yeah. The first, biggest, most important part is that the tag shows up over in what we call the doc map or the navigation pane. What's the purpose of that pane over there? Yeah, well, I guess it gives it away in the name. The navigation pane is for navigating. It's to give you a table of contents. It's to give you an index to what's in the file, and only F7 shows up over there, not F8. There's another big difference, though, between F7 and F8. Any ideas? Yeah. Yes, and F7 bolds entire lines. F7 will bold the whole line, the whole paragraph, as a tag. If nothing's selected, but if I press F7, that whole line becomes a tag and it shows up in the doc map. If I put my cursor in just a word and press F8, just that word goes bold. So you don't want to select this whole thing and press F8. You want to only use the part of it you're going to read to F8. Make sense? Okay. What would I do next with this card? Nope, I'm not going to condense it yet. Yep. I'm going to underline it. It's easier to read and underline if it's not condensed. So I'm going to select everything that I want to read and I'm going to underline it. Okay. So here we go. Now, normally you would want to condense the text so you can read it, right? In one paragraph. Well, before I need to do that, I want you all to go up to the toolbar where it says Settings. My resolution is set very low because of this projector, so I'm having trouble showing you. Aha. Click Settings. Go to the Format tab. And now I want you all to uncheck Use Pilcrows and uncheck Retain Paragraph Integrity. And press Save. not really going to explain the why, but it will make your files look better and not have annoying symbols all throughout them. Okay, so uncheck Pilcrows, uncheck retain paragraph integrity, and click save. That's fine. If it asks you to prompt you to save it, do that. Don't worry about it. Okay, so now if I select all the text I want to condense and press F3, or I'm sorry, yeah, F3, it will get rid of all the white space in between for me automatically. Everybody see that? So you can watch that again. If I select around the white space I want to get rid of and press F3, it will condense the text automatically. You can see what all the other various functions are up here. You can create block titles and pockets that are bigger than block titles to organize your file. You can highlight stuff, add emphasis to the card, clear all the formatting. If you ever get in trouble and you're like, I don't know why it's all formatted the way that it's formatted, the easiest thing to do, select it all on F12, clear all the formatting, and then you can quickly go back through and use the F keys to format whatever you want. Make sense? Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is using this for paperless purposes. Okay? So let's go get a file. Okay. So the idea is you have a bunch of files that have cards in them. And you need to, in any given debate, take cards from those files and put them in one spot to read them all. So you have your politics file, your AF file, some counterplan file, another dissat or whatever. And you need to get cards from all those places and assemble them in one spot. Colloquially, we refer to that spot as a what? A speech document. That just means it's the one document where you're going to put all of the cards that you're actually going to read in the debate in one place. Is it really making me log in to do this? All right, hang on. I got to get a file so I can show this to you. Okay. So if you open any file, you can open a file now from the packet. I'm going to put that over on the left-hand side of my screen. Okay? About half over there. Now, you might have to go to View Toolbars and click Attach Verbatim to get Verbatim to show up. Now, there is a button on the far left for New Speech. Yeah. Okay, Ricardo's got you. Okay, so if I click on New Speech, it's going to prompt me. What speech are you about to give? 2AC. And I want to make sure to give it some more identifying information. So, round 4, Green Hill or something. The idea is that you always want to give it a descriptive name so you just don't end up with a million files named exactly the same thing. Then click OK. It'll prompt you for where you want to save it. I'll put it in my desktop or whatever. Save. It'll then rename that file with the word speech in the title so Verbatim knows it's a speech document. And it'll also add the date and the time to that file. It's on the toolbar. There's a little thing with a green button on it. Click that and it will make a new speech. If that doesn't work for you for some reason ever, save a document yourself and make sure the word speech appears in the title somewhere. Okay, so now, what's the most basic way that I could get a card that I wanted from this file into this other file? And this time I would actually paste, right? Not F2, because I don't want to keep the underlining and stuff. Okay, well, what's the problem with copying and pasting in the debate? Yeah, it just takes forever to like go back and forth and copy a bunch of stuff. Yep? Stretch it. Okay, it's all good. Okay, so here's what you do instead. If I go over to this document and I click in the block title somewhere, and then I press the tilde key, which is just to the left of the 1, watch the right. Everybody see what just happened? That whole block just got sent over to my speech document from this in one click. Several people's minds just got blown. Okay, yeah. I'm glad you just asked. So let's say I wanted to put a new card in the speech document in between these two cards. I could just cut it. I'm updating the 1AC. Well, I'm gonna put my cursor over here where I want stuff to go. I'm gonna go find a new card down here. How about this card? If you put your cursor in the tag or anywhere in the card and press the tilde key, it will send it over to there. Now, somebody messed up their formatting, so that also sent a block title with it. But if I go here and make sure that I'm in the tag or that anywhere in the card, it will send over just a card at a time. The way that that works is that it will send from whatever your cursor is in, a block, an entire block, one card, a whole hat of stuff, an entire pocket of the whole file, and it will send that unit to your speech document at whatever point you have the cursor in the speech document. Yeah. Then it will send to the most recently opened speech document. So you can control which document it goes to by opening your speech docs in a different order. That's by design, so you can send like from a 2AC to a 1AR document very quickly. The most recently opened speech doc. You had a question in the back? Okay. So that process of transferring is a whole lot easier. Okay? Now, once you get it over here, you can also quickly reorganize it by using the shortcut Control, Command, Up, or Down. So if I click on a tag and say Control, Command, Up, my computer might be a little slow to show this. It should move that unit up or down in your document for you. I actually may have disabled that on mine for another reason, but you can quickly move that around. On the PC, you can actually drag and drop stuff, but on this, you have to use the shortcuts to move stuff around. Now, remember, you can have a bunch of files stacked up over here on the left and send from any of those into your speech doc to organize it. And then use the keys to move stuff up and down really fast. Now, let's say you're ready to give your speech. Okay? Then, you can click on this button on the debate toolbar for the reading view. Looks like a little book. And it will open this view where it's easier to see just what you want to read and use your mouse wheel to scroll up and down it, or on some of your computers you'll be able to press up or down and it will move a page at a time. This view's a lot better on the PC, so I will show you the cool features, but that does work. You'll also have, a lot of you, an option between the read view and the write view. If you switch to read view, there's unfortunately no way to make the navigation pane show up. You'll just get these stupid thumbnails. But in the read view, you can press up and down and it'll move a page at a time. My computer's running a little slow to do that, but you can sort of see that moving a page at a time. So that makes it easier to read in your speech. But if you're in the write view and you click somewhere, what happens if I am reading this card and I only make it to right here, toward recovery? What do you do in the speech? You got to say you're marking it, right? You got to say, I marked this card toward recovery. If you press the tilde key, if you click on that card where you stop and press the tilde key, it will insert a speech marker for you. That only works in the write view, not in the read view, which is stupid, but you can decide which view you like better. And then when you're done, you can click exit and go back to being in Word. Okay, as you can probably tell from the toolbar, there are a lot of other functions built in here that I've not talked about, including a bunch of functions to make it easier for you to upload your stuff to the case list, including a bunch of functions that let you do a bunch of formatting stuff to make it easier to format your cards. There's some other advanced kind of paperless stuff built into it, and there's a whole ton of stuff on the PC version that I'm obviously not going to talk about here. So if you have questions about that stuff, if you forget how to do the install, or if you have some troubleshooting things, the first place you should go is back over to paperlessdebate.com. And on that Verbatim Mac page, there is a link for the manual. Well, you should download the manual from the PC side because it includes all the Mac info. So back at this main site, there's a link part of the way down for Verbatim 4.5.1 manual. That includes a cheat sheet for all the shortcut keys on the Mac. That includes an explanation of everything I talked about today and a huge Q&A section if you want to know how to do something, plus a discussion of all the advanced features. So look there, give it a little skim through. If you're having trouble after this or you don't have a template installed, ask your lab leader, ask Ricardo, or find me sometime later. Any other questions? Yes? Yeah, so just click on your desktop or whatever, get your Apple symbol, go to Apple, System Preferences, then click on Keyboard. Maybe. There we go. Keyboard. And then there will be an option on the keyboard for, on the keyboard tab, usually you'll have a little option here. It's not on mine, but you'll have one that says use FN as standard function keys. No? Click that or uncheck that or swap whatever it is now and it'll swap it. You should also, on the keyboard shortcuts section, frequently Expose steals certain shortcuts. So you might have to uncheck the boxes for things like show desktop or show dashboard so you can use F12 without it stealing it from Verbatim. Okay, any other questions? Yes? Tilde, it's to the left of your 1. A little squiggle. Squiggle key to the left of the 1. If you have anything selected, it will send what you have selected. So don't select any text unless you want to send the text you have selected. Anything else? Command Z will undo, including the copy paste. Yeah. Yeah. I like draft view. I think it's the best compromise between visibility and function. Some people like web view. I'm not a fan of it. I think page layout is clearly the worst because it's a bunch of white space that gets in the way of reading stuff. So that's why the default for Verbatim docs is in draft view. Other thoughts? Okay, I have a debate to judge. Thank you for coming. You can go do whatever you're going to do next. Anything new? Were we kicked out of our room? Which number one? Is that open?
The other wait.
We're going to 308 and start over there. Let's roll.
Supposed to be judging in here, or am I supposed to be in some other room? Okay. We're just going to take the room across the street and film that. Yeah. Okay. Are we supposed to start at 3? 14? I figured I was late, so... Are you in like 2AR prep or something? Okay. Well, I'm going to let you give some feedback or whatever you want to do, and I'm going to go start us off tomorrow. So if we get booted, we'll come over here after the 3 hours. Alright, if we get kicked out of here, we get kicked out of here. And then we'll do the other room once we're done. Are you after that? I don't think anyone recorded in the lab lecture this morning. Do you mean Maggie talking about stuff? You'd have to ask. Eric might have done it. He tends to tape everything. But I don't know.